For those American athletes who'd spent years getting ready for Moscow 1980, it must have been the bitterest of blows.
Yeah, absolutely. And, obviously that's the 1980 Olympics, but the 76 Olympic Games, we had problems with apartheid, so there was boycotts then. And obviously in the 84 Olympic Games, the Eastern Bloc, did tit for tat and didn't turn up. So there was 3 Olympic Games on the trot that were very much ruined by boycotts. And of course, we'd love to keep politics out of sport. I don't know how realistic that is because obviously, the sport it's a huge event. I don't think that China is the only the only guilty face in all of this. And obviously right now, we're talking about this because America have announced their boycott. And I would be very happy if the British government announced a diplomatic boycott, because I think that is showing that we are not happy with what China are doing at the moment. Worry very much about the tennis player, worry very much about genocide. There's an awful lot that goes on in China that really should be under scrutiny. But there's also an awful lot that goes on in Qatar, and that was okay, for football next year, and for Saudi Arabia for Formula One. So The Olympics is certainly not the only ones, and I do think that these organisations are the ones that should be taking more responsibility to pick better where they put their competitions.
And it's important to note that in all this, you want to punish the Chinese Communist Party, not the people of China, and there's always a risk of the people.
Yeah, absolutely. All the athletes, obviously, as you mentioned, the athletes are the ones that are very much the innocent bystanders in all of this. They've given many, many years to their sport. And what is incredibly frustrating, and what was very frustrating way back in 1980 when we were asked to boycott, was that nobody was boycotting trade at that particular time with Russia. Nobody is boycotting trade, certainly with China. Yeah. So if you're sitting, very much on your high horse at the moment and saying that we should be boycotting the Olympic Games, I hope that you're not buying any cheap Chinese products, because ultimately, whilst we're trading, that is the biggest economical factor with China. There's lots of things we can do to put pressure on them, and I don't think that throwing the athletes under the bus is the right thing. But diplomatic boycott, yes, I'm pro that.
Yeah, you make a really good point. I've asked politicians before now when it comes to Chinese boycotts or diplomatic action sanctions against Chinese. What about that Huawei phone that you seem quite attached to? Just in terms of individual actions that can be taken by individual athletes, it's noteworthy, isn't it, that we mentioned Peng Shuai there, the tennis player. There's an appetite, it seems, for protest about that, and this is understandable, from fellow tennis players, because that really feels close to the knuckle, doesn't it, in a way that, for instance, for all that what's happened to the Uyghurs in China is dreadful on a huge scale, but it's sort of a little bit abstract because it's not the same as somebody you've shared a locker with or a media briefing with in the way that some of the tennis players who've played with Peng Shuai have.
Yes, absolutely. And it's very brave of the Women's Tennis Association to do something about this. I would like to see the Men's Tennis Association do exactly the same thing. And I thought that the whole interview with Thomas Bach at the IOC was a total and utter sham. It's ridiculous to say that she wasn't speaking under duress. How do we know, what was going on behind the camera? I think that there should have been some much bigger, serious questions asked. I don't think until she's out of the country in an independent situation that we can get the truth from her. And obviously nothing is being done at the moment about those accusations. It's just been swept away as if it didn't happen at all. So very, very worrying. This isn't new. It's been going on in China for a very long time.